In this new life, the first thing Liam did was drug the alpha who was meant to be his husband. In the last one, Caleb had never shown him a shred of physical intimacy, repulsed by the fact he was a beta. This time, Liam pushed him onto the bed, his mouth a bruising force against Caleb's. The alpha, who had always viewed him with such disdain, was now clinging to him, desperate and pliant. When Liam finally pulled back and reached for a tube of ointment, Caleb's eyes held a flicker of something unfamiliar, a bruised vulnerability. His voice, usually a confident baritone, was a ragged plea. He wanted Liam to be the one to apply it for him. Caleb Thorne had been a predator in a bespoke suit, a charismatic alpha who wielded his family's corporate empire like a weapon. His life was a whirlwind of indulgent parties and fleeting conquests, a cycle that ended abruptly on his 30th birthday. The memory was sharp and searing. A simple dinner at his family's penthouse, a sudden violent cramping in his stomach, and then the taste of iron as he choked on his own blood before darkness claimed him. He had been poisoned, and then, impossibly, he was reborn. He awoke to the clinking of silverware in a sterile, upscale restaurant in Manhattan, his family finalizing a business merger through his arranged marriage. When his eyes focused on the beta sitting across from him, the blood rushed to his head with a deafening roar. It was him, Liam. Caleb was too consumed by the sheer miracle of his second chance to notice the subtle, knowing curve of Liam's lips. He was also blissfully unaware that the man who would be his husband was the very person who had murdered him. Caleb had never desired a beta, but he desperately needed the influence and capital Liam's family brought to the table. In their previous life, he had spent 2 years methodically dismantling Liam's defenses, crafting the perfect illusion of a devoted lover to secure a crucial corporate project. Every word, every gesture was a calculated part of the performance. Liam, starved for genuine affection, had eventually fallen completely. The moment the contracts were signed and their vows exchanged, Caleb had ripped off the mask. His gaze turned to ice and contempt. As Thorne Industries grew, so did Caleb's audacity. He filled their home with the cloying, sweet pheromones of omegas, never sparing a thought for the scentless beta who shared his name. At first, he was discreet. Then, he grew bold, bringing them back to their marital bed. For Liam, those nights were a slow, agonizing execution. So, he had prepared a dinner for Caleb, a final meal laced with a tasteless poison. After watching the life drain from Caleb's arrogant face, he had finally held him close, then calmly drank the second vial he had prepared for himself. He had expected an ending, a shared oblivion. Instead, they had both been given a second beginning. This time, Caleb's courtship was even more flawless, honed by past experience. He was a master of the game, and within 6 months, they were engaged. Liam, playing his part, invited Caleb to his apartment for the night. Caleb's expression faltered for a moment. He repeated the same excuse he'd used in their last life, something about preferring to wait until after the wedding, a flimsy shield of tradition. Liam simply grabbed his wrist, his touch cool and firm. He questioned why they should wait when their marriage was already a foregone conclusion, adding that he wanted to know Caleb on a deeper level. His fingers traced the veins on Caleb's wrist, a casual, electrifying touch that made Caleb's gaze lock onto his face. He saw him then, truly saw him for the first time. Liam's features were sharp and defined, a handsome severity so different from the soft beauty of an omega. His body, visible beneath a thin cashmere sweater, was lean and powerful. A strange, unfamiliar warmth stirred within Caleb. He swallowed, his throat suddenly dry, and agreed. After a hot shower, Caleb felt a spark of novel excitement. He didn't like betas, but the novelty of the experience, especially with one as strikingly attractive as Liam, was undeniable. Wrapped in a towel, he stepped out of the bathroom into pitch darkness. The heavy curtains blocked out the city lights, plunging the spacious apartment into an oppressive black. He called out Liam's name, but received only silence. As he fumbled for the light switch, a hand covered his mouth from behind. Something small and dry was forced between his lips, and a powerful grip compelled him to swallow. The bitter taste flooded his senses. He drove his elbow back, breaking free and stumbling away from the figure in the shadows, demanding to know who was there. A voice, calm and devoid of its usual warmth, identified him. It was Liam. A chill went down Caleb's spine. He quickly forced a smile, trying to regain control of the situation. He asked Liam what he had just given him, stepping closer. Liam met his advance, stopping just inches away, and told him it was something to make him happier. Understanding dawned on Caleb, and he let out a low, condescending chuckle. He chided Liam for giving him such a thing, reminding him that he was a dominant alpha. As he reached out to pull Liam into an embrace, he warned that it would be Liam who would suffer the consequences. The sharp, metallic click of a locking mechanism echoed in the silent room. Cold metal snapped around his wrist. Liam's voice was a low murmur, stating that he disagreed. Caleb found himself chained to the bed, the drug coursing through his veins like wildfire. His vision was rimmed with red, his breathing ragged and heavy. He stared at Liam, rattling the chains in a desperate fury, ordering him to stop the game and let him go. He was losing control. Liam's voice was a soothing poison, promising it wouldn't hurt, that he would make him feel good. At first, Caleb tried to reason with him, his words soft and persuasive. As the drug took hold, his tone grew frantic, then devolved into raw, desperate threats. He was going insane. He demanded to be released. Liam's gaze drifted down Caleb's body, a small, cruel smile playing on his lips. He noted that Caleb looked rather uncomfortable. He reached out and tore away the damp towel, exposing him completely. Caleb, his body now a slave to instinct, lunged towards him, begging him to hurry. Liam sat beside him, slowly undoing his own robe under Caleb's hungry gaze. Caleb's breath hitched. Liam simply leaned in close, his voice a whisper against Caleb's ear. He wondered aloud if their future child would be an alpha or an omega, maybe even a beta. He mused that the child should take Caleb's last name. Caleb froze, the drug-induced haze momentarily clearing. He stared at Liam, his eyes wide with a dawning, repulsive horror. He tried to kick him away, but his ankles were bound to the bed frame. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was an alpha. He snarled that Liam must be out of his mind. An unfamiliar sensation, invasive and sharp, cut off his protests. He watched, helpless, as Liam moved over him, a choked gasp escaping his lips. He ordered him to get out, his voice cracking with shame and fury. In all his life, he had always been the one in control, the one on top. The humiliation was a physical agony. He thrashed wildly, a raw sound of protest tearing from his throat, but his struggles only weakened him further. Liam pressed him down, a hand resting gently on his flat, hard abdomen. He calmly explained that alphas possessed a rudimentary womb, less developed than an omega's and harder to conceive in, but not impossible. With enough attempts, he was certain they would be successful. The pressure inside him was overwhelming, bleaching all thought from his mind. He gasped for air like a fish out of water. Recognizing this was Caleb's first time, Liam paused, allowing him to acclimate. The initial discomfort began to soften, warped by the drug into a strange, spreading warmth. He felt Caleb's body give a small, involuntary response. A thrill of triumph shot through Liam, and he abandoned all restraint. Throughout the long night, he worked tirelessly, guiding Caleb from frantic resistance to desperate, grasping compliance. As dawn approached, the drug's effects faded, but Caleb remained lost in the overwhelming sensations. Exhausted, he finally surrendered to sleep. Liam didn't move away. He held Caleb, whose sleeping form was quiet and pliant, more appealing than he had ever been when he was awake and wearing his mask of disdain. Liam remembered the painful months after their first wedding, when he had tried so desperately to win the real Caleb's affection, only to be met with scorn. After his rebirth, he had considered every possible way to keep Caleb by his side. Only one solution seemed permanent: a child. An alpha's pregnancy was difficult, but during it, they became as dependent on their mate as any omega. The bond would lessen after birth, but it would never truly disappear. Even a beta like him would become the center of Caleb's world. He would never be able to leave. In his sleep, Caleb shifted, trying to pull away from the heat behind him. Liam's arm tightened around his waist, pulling him back until they were pressed together. He whispered against Caleb's ear for him to be still, explaining that because he was an alpha, they needed to stay close for the best chance of success. By evening, hunger pangs woke Caleb. Every muscle screamed in protest. The air in the disordered room was thick with his own pheromones, tainted with something else he couldn't quite place. He pushed himself up, a wave of disorientation washing over him. He saw Liam sleeping beside him, and then, following a strange sense of wrongness, his eyes traveled down his own body. He couldn't process it. This had never happened in his last life. His voice was a raw croak when he tried to speak, shocking him. A surge of rage propelled him to throw a punch, but his exhausted body robbed the blow of its force. Liam stirred, rubbing the side of his face. He grabbed Caleb's sluggish body and pulled him back down. A sharp cry was torn from Caleb as he collapsed. He tried to unleash his pheromones, a wave of aggressive scent flooding the room, but the beta behind him was completely unaffected. He had forgotten. Liam was immune. Liam noted that Caleb must be hungry and had a meal sent up. To prevent any outbursts, he retrieved the discarded restraints and calmly secured Caleb's wrists once more. Only then did he position them both at the small dining table. Caleb, parched, drank greedily from the glass Liam held to his lips. He eyed the food, his stomach growling, and then tugged at the restraints, demanding to be let go so he could eat. Liam simply picked up a bowl of stew and a spoon, informing Caleb that he would feed him. Caleb's face flushed with fury. He insisted he could feed himself, but Liam refused. It was obvious what Caleb was planning. Eat, regain his strength, and then either attack him or escape. Caleb leaned back, refusing to eat out of protest. Liam stared at his defiant face for a long moment, then simply placed the bowl back on the table. The sight of the food retreating defeated Caleb's pride. He was weak, exhausted, and utterly powerless. He forced himself to ignore the lingering discomfort and conceded that he would eat. Liam fed him slowly, sometimes pulling the spoon away just as Caleb leaned in, watching the frustration build in his eyes. But hunger won out, and Caleb meekly followed the spoon. When the food was gone, Caleb licked his lips and produced a placating smile. He suggested that since they were getting married anyway, they could forget the previous night had ever happened if Liam would just undo the cuffs. Liam watched him, a knowing look in his eyes, and remarked that Caleb seemed to have recovered his energy. He then carried him back to the bed they had spent the entire night in. It was time to continue. A revitalized Caleb fought back, his unbound legs kicking wildly. Liam weathered the blows, waiting for an opening to press back against him. The struggle continued until Caleb was once again spent, left with only his voice to threaten Liam with. He called him a bastard, him that he was finished. He insisted people would come looking for him, that the engagement wouldn't protect Liam from the consequences. He swore he would destroy him. Liam calmly interrupted, asking if he was referring to his parents. He picked up his phone and showed Caleb the call log. He reminded Caleb that his parents were desperate to see the merger succeed. They would be thrilled to know that he and Caleb were finally consummating their relationship. He had already told them he and Caleb were taking a private trip for a few days. They were overjoyed. Liam smoothed Caleb's hair back, planting a soft kiss on his forehead, promising to handle the business project for him. Caleb didn't need to worry about a thing. Caleb slammed his shoulder into Liam, his voice raw with fury, insisting he didn't need his help. But his body betrayed him, sinking back into the mattress. Soon, he was limp, his eyes shining with unshed tears of rage and humiliation. Liam picked up Caleb's phone and, in front of him, began methodically deleting contacts. Every Omega's name vanished from the list. Caleb protested weakly, but Liam was relentless. He explained that whatever happened before was in the past. He would not tolerate any such connections after they were married. Caleb's legs kicked feebly. He spat that he would never marry a lunatic like him. Liam ignored the insults, a grim satisfaction growing with each deleted name. When only family, friends, and business associates remained, a triumphant smile spread across his face. He leaned over the trembling, defeated Alpha. He should have done this from the very beginning. For days, Caleb was kept like a prized pet, cut off from the world. No one answered his calls for help. His life became a cycle of forced intimacy and exhausted sleep. Eventually, he broke. He stopped fighting, accepting Liam's care with a detached resignation. He hated to admit it, but in those moments of forced contact, he had felt a pleasure more intense than anything he had ever experienced with an Omega. The thought disgusted him. He tried to force the memories from his mind, filling his thoughts with the soft, pliant Omegas of his past. He was so lost in thought he didn't notice Liam return. Liam announced that the project was handled. Caleb offered a non-committal grunt. Liam asked what he was thinking about. When Caleb admitted it was Omegas, Liam's body went rigid. He moved closer, his voice low and dangerous, asking what was so good about them. He questioned if they could ever make Caleb feel the way he did. Caleb's lips thinned, his gaze sharp as a razor. He finally asked the question that had been tormenting him. He pointed to his own head, then to Liam's, asking if he was mentally sound. He recalled the submissive man from their last life, the one who silently endured his affairs. He couldn't reconcile that man with the one before him now. He even offered to connect Liam with a few good psychiatrists. Liam tilted his head, feigning innocence. He claimed he was simply in love and wanted a child with him. Caleb threw a pillow at him, shouting that he was an alpha and couldn't get pregnant. Liam nodded in agreement. A flicker of hope ignited in Caleb's chest, but Liam's next words extinguished it. He produced a small, transparent bag containing a single gray capsule. He dangled it in front of Caleb, explaining that he had a friend who helped him procure a rare drug that could significantly increase an alpha's chances of conception. Caleb stared at the capsule, a cold dread seeping into his bones. A fragmented truth began to assemble itself in his mind. He whispered Liam's name, his voice barely audible. Liam smiled, encouraging him to continue. With a pale, drawn face, Caleb finished the thought, his voice trembling. He asked if Liam was reborn, too. The smile on Liam's face widened. He confirmed that he was. He knelt on the bed, bracing his arms on either side of Caleb, and added that the poison that killed him in their last life was also his doing. Caleb's pupils shrank. He swung a fist, but Liam caught it effortlessly, twisting his arm behind his back and pressing him face down into the mattress. Liam's voice was a possessive whisper against his ear, a litany of commands. Don't think about other Omegas. Don't try to escape, or they would just die together all over again. The capsule was not meant to be swallowed. As Liam administered it, Caleb's face contorted in discomfort. Liam soothed him, stroking his hair, promising it would be over soon. Caleb's teeth ground together in silent fury. It all made sense now, the invitation, the audacity. He thrashed, his mind consumed with violent fantasies of revenge, but his struggles soon weakened. A dizzying heat spread through his body, making his scalp tingle. His heart hammered against his ribs, his temperature soared, and his glands began to secrete pheromones uncontrollably. He was going into a rut. He didn't understand how this was possible. Liam calmly explained that the capsule likely had some side effects. He asked if Caleb needed help. A single word, leave, was torn from Caleb's throat. He buried his face in his pillow, his body a battlefield of desperate, conflicting urges. The restraints allowed him only to writhe against the damp sheets. While Caleb suffered, Liam sat calmly on the edge of the bed, scrolling through his phone. He ignored the muffled, pained sounds from the pillow until a trembling hand clutched at his clothes. Caleb had lifted his head. His face was flushed, his voice hoarse and broken as he begged Liam to come to him. Liam feigned confusion. Through gritted teeth, Caleb repeated the request. Liam put his phone away. The powerful drug induced a rut that lasted for 3 full days. During that time, Caleb was insatiable, his actions driven purely by instinct. In his rare moments of lucidity, he would either curse Liam or vow revenge. On the 3rd day, as Liam had promised, he released him. But Caleb clung to him, refusing to let go, rubbing against him like a desperate animal. Liam feigned innocence, reminding Caleb that he had told him to leave. Caleb's frustration was palpable. He told him to stop talking and get back here. Liam complied, but then stopped, patting Caleb's swollen, tender body. He said he needed to clean him up and apply some ointment. The sight of the tube made Caleb's face darken. He couldn't believe Liam was serious. He squeezed his eyes shut, a stubborn refusal to look. But as Liam finished cleaning him and prepared to apply the salve, his eyes snapped open again. He told him not to. His entire body was flushed a deep red. He averted his gaze, his voice a stuttering mess as he finally managed to get the words out. He wanted Liam to put it on himself and use that to soothe him. After the rut ended, Caleb slept for what felt like an eternity. Liam unfastened the chains and held his bruised body close. He woke in the middle of the night to an empty space beside him. The sheets were cold. Caleb was gone. A faint smile touched Liam's lips. He was impressed by the Alpha's resilience. He wasn't worried. He simply rolled over into the warm spot Caleb had left and went back to sleep. Caleb's first priority upon returning home was to dissolve the engagement. His second was to hire people to deal with Liam. When his parents found out, they dragged him home and his father read him the riot act. He demanded to know if Caleb had lost his mind, reminding him that their family's entire financial stability now hinged on Liam's family. Without that merger, they would all be ruined. He ordered Caleb to fix whatever problem he had created. After destroying half the furniture in his room, Caleb was forced to calm down. He reassured himself that, despite the unexpected turn of events, the overall trajectory was the same as last time. He just had to endure this until after the wedding. Then he would have his revenge. He behaved for a few days, but the simmering rage only grew. He returned to his old habits, gathering his friends and heading to an exclusive club to find an Omega. In the dim, smoke-filled private room, he surrounded himself with beautiful, soft Omegas who catered to his every whim. Their sweet scents and flattering words began to soothe his frayed nerves. Later that night, he took his favorite back to his apartment, ready for a night of cathartic pleasure. But when the moment came, nothing happened. He stared down at his own body in disbelief, then at the nervous Omega. He ordered her to release more pheromones, his voice trembling. The room filled with an even richer scent, but still he felt no response. He tried again and again over the next few days with different Omegas, always with the same result. Something was wrong with him. He went to a private clinic, disguised in a hat and sunglasses. The specialist reviewed his test results for a long time, then pushed his glasses up his nose and said there was nothing he could do. Caleb slammed his fist on the desk in a rage, demanding to know what kind of expert he was. The doctor, unfazed by his outburst, simply slid the chart back across the desk and told him he needed to see an obstetrician. Photos of Caleb entering and leaving the clinic soon arrived on Liam's phone. It was clear Caleb knew he was pregnant. But Liam wasn't worried about him terminating the pregnancy. An alpha's body, like an Omega's, produced hormones during gestation that fostered a powerful maternal instinct. Because alpha pregnancies were so rare, the effect was even stronger. Caleb wouldn't harm the child. In fact, Liam knew he would soon come looking for him. Feeling pleased, he had his office outfitted with a softer couch and plusher carpets. When Caleb arrived, Liam was in a meeting with a subordinate. A month apart had left Caleb looking haggard, with dark circles under his eyes. The sight of the young Omega in Liam's office ignited his suppressed anger. He accused Liam of carrying on as if nothing had happened, even flirting with Omegas. The terrified Omega scurried out of the room. Liam smiled calmly, expressing surprise that Caleb would seek him out. Caleb gritted his teeth, annoyed at his own weakness. His pregnancy was too fragile for a direct procedure. He would have to wait until the 3-month mark. In the meantime, his hormones were wreaking havoc on his emotions. The beta haunted his thoughts, day and night. He couldn't sleep, and the scent of Omegas had gone from desirable to repulsive. He had come here as a last resort. He retorted that he was just checking on his fiancée, then sank into the new, plush sofa. He warned Liam not to try anything funny, claiming that if he disappeared, the police would be notified. Moments after sitting down, an overwhelming wave of exhaustion hit him. His words trailed off, and he fell asleep against the arm of the sofa. Liam gently lifted him, placing a hand on his flat stomach. It was still firm, but soon it would begin to swell. Resting his chin on Caleb's head, he breathed in, satisfied. Caleb's mind might hate him, but his body instinctively sought him out. Even though he hadn't been asked, Caleb started showing up at Liam's office regularly. Sometimes he would even follow him home and take over his bed. In the middle of the night, Liam would feel Caleb press his face into his neck, inhaling deeply, like a dog seeking its master's scent. Liam had to fight the overwhelming urge to pull him closer, knowing that if Caleb woke up, he would bolt. Caleb's plan was to stick around just long enough to have the procedure. But the longer he stayed, the more attached he became to the unwanted life inside him. By the time he was cleared for the surgery, his emotions were in turmoil. He stormed into Liam's office and punched him squarely in the jaw, screaming that it was all his fault. He struck him again and again, his weakened body quickly growing breathless. Liam caught his wrist and pulled him into a hard embrace. Caleb's eyes were red, tears streaming down his face. Liam wiped them away with his thumb, telling him not to cry, to be careful of the baby. Caleb froze. Liam knew. Liam held him from behind, restraining his flailing arms. He accused Liam of being a madman. Liam calmly agreed. He murmured that Caleb was the one who had made him this way, making him fall in love only to be discarded like trash. His arms tightened, his gaze falling to the vulnerable scent gland on Caleb's neck. He was the one who had driven him insane. He leaned in and bit down gently, mimicking an alpha's claiming bite, and told Caleb that he had to take responsibility for him. During the pregnancy, Caleb's body underwent Omega-like changes. That afternoon, during their argument, a slight jostle was enough to soil his shirt with milk. He stared down at the wet spot in stunned silence, his fists clenching again. Liam's words were a quiet declaration of truth. He couldn't leave him, not in the last life and not in this one. He was bound to the beta who had no scent, who couldn't be marked, but whom his body craved. He asked Liam if he was happy now that he was repulsed by other Omegas. Liam answered honestly that he was. Caleb sighed, his hand coming up to cup the back of Liam's neck. He pulled him closer, saying that if he had to take responsibility, then Liam needed to do the same. His gaze dropped, and Liam, with a soft chuckle, reached out to oblige. After a period of being utterly doted upon, Caleb settled into a new kind of existence. He no longer sought out Omegas. Instead, he spent his time policing Liam's every move. He complained constantly about the number of Omegas, Alphas, and even Betas in Liam's company. His hormonal mood swings manifested not as sadness, but as pure, unadulterated rage. Anything could set him off. He would finish a tirade against Liam's staff and then turn on him, accusing him of being attracted to anyone and everyone. Liam would leave his desk and walk over to the small bed he had installed in the office for Caleb's comfort. Caleb would tell him to go away, but his body would shift to make room. Liam would lie down, assuring him that from the last life to this one, Caleb was the only one he had ever wanted. He would then add quietly that Caleb, on the other hand, had been surrounded by more Omegas than he could count. The hint of jealousy in his voice silenced Caleb, who knew he was guilty. He gruffly announced he was tired and turned his back to sleep. A few moments later, he would roll over and press himself against Liam, his arm locking tightly around his waist. In a rare moment of vulnerability, his voice low and uncertain, he would whisper Liam's name, and then tell him that he hated him more than anything. Liam would turn and hold him, patting his back gently. He would whisper back, "Me too." During the second trimester, Caleb became incredibly clingy. He demanded Liam move his workspace into his own office and constantly interrupted him. Just now, Caleb had glanced at a file for a moment before standing up and striding over. He swung a leg over Liam's lap, settling onto him and wrapping his arms around his neck. His body blocked the view of the computer screen. Liam gave up and turned his full attention to him. Caleb, with a stern expression, announced that his shirt was wet again. Liam glanced at it, about to point out that it had been clean that morning, but Caleb clapped a hand over his mouth, his cheeks flushing slightly. He grumbled that it wasn't his fault. It was because of the damned hormones. Their nights had become frequent, almost rivaling the intensity of Caleb's induced rut. Liam knew the reason, but he couldn't resist teasing Caleb when he saw him trying to act nonchalant. Caleb's teeth ground together, a sign he was nearing his breaking point. Liam knew if he pushed any further, Caleb would start pacing and shouting, then clutch his stomach and claim it hurt. Suppressing a laugh, Liam lifted him onto the desk. He promised he would help him get cleaned up right away.